was pretty happy, I would say, for um, the first year. And then, you know, it started to become a huge stressor for me. The guy I was dealing with then was very controlling. He was never physically abusive, but he was definitely verbally abusive, and I had been through it before. Before it got physical.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, after I left, we tried to be friends, and he found out I was communicating with other people. Nothing serious, but he got super upset. He attacked me in my home. He did have a gun on him, so I didn't fight back. We were upstairs. I ended up falling down the stairs, and I lived with my brother at the time, and he heard me fall down the stairs, so he came out, and I was bleeding, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "He's gonna kill me. Like, please help me." And so, my brother told me to go hide in the closet in the living room, and that's what I did. And my brother was able to talk him down, get him out of the house without anything else occurring. And he did go to jail for what he did, but again, at that point, you know, I was again at a broken place. I finally got a breakthrough when I got that job in the lab that I'm at now. And like I said, things started to look up financially. I was out of that bad relationship.
Good. Did the other guy did he go to jail? Did he have to do some time?
He did.
Good.
He is actually still in prison. And
for that or for something else?
I believe something else.
Okay.
He got released from prison for what he did to me. In 2018, if I'm not mistaken, but I get notices whenever he goes in and goes out, and he's been back and forth.
Okay. Do you know how much time he had to do for what he did to you?
So when the case came up, we actually the prosecutor did want to take it to trial, but before we took it to trial, we did a walkthrough of the courtroom and what it would be like and where he'd be sitting. And I broke down and I told her I can't face him again. So he ended up getting charged with all of the counts that he was originally charged with, except for rape, because that would have had to go to trial for him to be charged of that. So he did get charged with attempted rape and kidnapping, larceny of a vehicle, and it was an additional charge. And I believe the plea deal was 6 years in prison. Okay.
And that's he did 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know it was him when it was happening? Or, I mean, were you blindsided some kind of way? He kind of caught you off guard. You didn't know what was going on? Like, what happened?
So he, for several months after I left him, because he was actually physically abusive in our relationship, and to the point that, you know, I was scared he wouldn't leave my home. I wish I would have said something to someone, but I was partially afraid of what he would do and partially afraid of what they would think, because there is a negative stigma, unfortunately, around women who confront their accusers or tell someone about their accusers. So I didn't say anything, and the chance I got to leave him, I did. He actually got arrested for, I want to say, that child support. And so I took all of his things to his mom's house, and I asked her to tell him, please don't contact me. And I thought I was done then. And he actually stopped me for about 3 months after the fact. He would call me 50 times a day. If I didn't answer the phone, he would do things like post pictures of me and my bra and underwear that he had from when we were together.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got to the point to where I was so fed up with what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
When he propositioned me that if I would just tell him to his face that I didn't want to be with him, that he would leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so the agreement was to meet him at his grandmother's house, where his grandmother and his sister would be present. And I would tell him.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got there, they weren't. His grandmother and sister weren't there. And from then, he attacked me.
Was this something psychological? Or do you think he was on some type of drugs? I'm just wondering, do you think it was just like maybe like some psychological something going on in his mind? Or was it like a substance abuse thing where it was just like he kind of, wasn't there because of something maybe he was taking or using?
Right. I don't believe it was a substance abuse thing. I do believe it was something psychological.
Okay.
Because like I've told a few people in my past, whenever it comes to me, I naturally have a trusting heart, and turn it down, please. I give people the benefit of the doubt a bunch of times before I call it quits, and that's with family, that's with relationships, friends. And so I think he got to the point to where he thought I would never leave.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did, something broke for him mentally.
Mm-hmm. But okay. So that was when you just kind of seen this other side that you hadn't really seen on another level?
Right.
Okay. That makes sense. Whew. Well, you're a very strong woman. Like, you've been through a lot. I admire you. I admire, your strengths, even in just sharing your story. And, just being able to kind of, walk away from it and have done as much as you accomplished in your life. It says a lot. So, you should be very proud of yourself. When I seen that you had graduated, I'm like, yes, I really want to get, and I kind of seen a little bit about your stories, I hadn't had the opportunity to really see, to learn everything, but I remember reading some things about your story, and I was like, that's very, strong of her to be able to share that on her social media page.
Right.
And so, because I'm sure, like, we all know a lot of women go through these things and they're quiet about it. And,
Right.
I mean, nothing is wrong with that, but it takes a level of strength and, courage to be open. You
Right.
know.
And
Yeah.
it took a long time, and like even when I shared the story, and I told plenty of people about surrounding cases, things like the Bill Cosby case, where they say, she shouldn't have took so long to say, or if it happened, what took so long. I said, even with my own personal story, it took me 7 years before I was able to talk about it out loud. And when something that personal and that traumatic happens to you, it may take, some women never say anything. Some women have had things happen to them. And I won't even just say women, because unfortunately it happens to men as well. Some go their entire life with never saying anything. They take it to the grave with them. And I felt it was important for me to share for those people who weren't able to share.
Absolutely. And I'm just so glad that, you are here. You're still here, because that situation could have, both situations, could have taken you out. But the fact that you're still here and it just it's a miracle and it's a blessing. And so
Absolutely.
yeah,
I would say.
I didn't ask you about the like how you were, how were you found in that situation? How did you get out of that first situation? You kind of talked a
Um,
little bit about how your brother from another mother, or no, your brother actually helped you in the second domestic violence case. How were you found in the first one or
so
rescued?
there was the first chance that I had, I ran,
Mhm.
and he chased after me, and I was attempting to flag down cars,
Mhm.
and I didn't have anyone in the car stop, but there was a guy riding a bike, and he stopped to help me, and he called the police, and as soon as he called the police, that's when um, I just ran back to the car and stole my car and my phone
Mhm.
and drove off before
Mhm.
the police got there.
Okay. Well, that guy helped. He did. Yeah. That was good that you ran. And I think the biggest thing about these domestic violence cases and even like verbal, abuse and things such as that nature is the person that we least expect to do these things to us. The one
Right,
that we're closest to. So our guard is down. And I've been in a situation before where my guard was down and I experienced, verbal abuse and that type of thing. And somebody that I felt like wasn't mentally stable. I learned that later, like you said, trying to see the best in everybody. And those, when you start to see that, it's scary. And then you try to
right,
talk yourself out of, oh no, like they're just saying that. You know what I mean? You try to reason, like,
right,
nah, I know, nah, they're not like that. They wouldn't do that. And before you
right,
know it, you're in a scary situation and you don't know how to get out because it's like you're in too deep at that point.
right,
And they may even start saying things like, well, I'm going to kill myself if, you don't talk to me, like different things like that to make you feel guilty of trying to free yourself from that toxic situation.
right.
So, yeah, those are definitely red flags. In the midst of all of this stuff, you found you were able to find another one of your passions and discover another one of your passions, which is makeup. So let's talk a little bit
Yes,
about that and how that came about. I want to know, like, what kind of, what made you get into makeup and kind of start feeling like, okay, maybe this is something I want to pursue as an interest or a passion.
right, definitely. So I've loved the makeup since the first time I played in my mom's makeup when I was maybe 13 or so. But I
Mhm.
wasn't so good at it back then.
I don't think none of us were.
And so once I got to college, NC State, a friend of mine, her little sister was really big into watching YouTube. And so she kind of introduced me to the YouTube world. And I
Mhm.
started watching different people, and I started practicing more and getting better at my makeup skills. And I got to a point to where, I felt I was really good. I was getting a lot of people telling me how good I was. And at some point I said, um, I think I want to extend this gift past myself, past just doing makeup for myself. And I started advertising to do makeup for proms, formals, things of that nature. And I got a couple clients here and there.
Mhm.
And as I did more clients, more people called, more people contacted me to schedule more appointments. And so at that point, I said, I really like doing this. And so um, I decided to make a business out of it. And that's when I want to say maybe 3 months or so after I started doing freelance makeup, I did um, start up Renee Red Artistry, which is my cosmetic business. I was at one point doing hair as well, which I've been doing hair pretty much all my life as well.
Okay.
But I ended up due to the client base I was getting for hair. It was pretty inconsistent, and there were a lot of things that were frustrating about it.
Mhm.
And hair has never really been a passion for me like makeup has. So I was just doing it because I was good at it.
Mhm.
And so when the frustrations came with the client base, I kept saying, I don't know if I can keep doing this because oh my goodness. And so I decided to stop offering hair services and just offering makeup because it is my passion. I love to do it. And there are frustrations, just like with any
right.
Entrepreneur. Anytime you're starting a business of your own, there are going to be frustrations, and especially when it's a people-facing type of service that you're offering, you're going to have some times where it's frustrating. But as long as it's something you're passionate about, then you'll be able to get through those things. And that's how it was for makeup. And I think I've been operating when they were at artistry for 3 years now.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's been 3 years. And I do speak to, actually, because right now I'm not licensed, but I am speaking to become licensed.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle of, of my other passion, which is science and animals. Like I tell everyone, I have 3 passions, and I'm planning on seeking or pursuing all 3.
That's amazing.
For the rest of my life, and that's animal science and makeup. And so, I do plan on getting my esthetician's license at some point, so that I can possibly open up a storefront or something of that nature. I can hire other makeup artists because while I'm chasing this dream, I'm also chasing my other dreams, and I can't do it all alone.
Right.
So my goal is eventually to become licensed and open up a storefront instance.
I think that's awesome. That's really good because now we live in a day and age where it's not like how it used to be, where you just kind of, find one thing you really enjoy doing or you're passionate about, and that's the only thing you chase. Right now, it's about, because the world it fluctuates, the job market and just the economy. It's about, kind of having your hands in different things and having different streams of income. That's what a lot of successful people do now. So I think that's a good plan. Yeah. I really enjoyed talking to you. I just appreciate you just allowing me to interview you today. Yeah. Absolutely. I have one more question. I always like to ask this question to everyone I interview. If there was a piece of advice you would give to someone, just to keep going, when you think about what motivated you, what kind of gave you that strength to push through, even, having to and I guess endured everything that you had to go through, what advice would you give them to help them to hold on and see that light at the end of the tunnel?
I would definitely say that you can't focus on your timing. It's not going to happen on your timing. It's never. There's always going to be a shoe that's going to drop somewhere. There's always going to be a hurdle to get over. There's always going to be an obstacle. But at the end of the day, God has you. God is carrying you. You have a purpose here. Every day that you wake up with breath in your lungs, you have a purpose here. And to never stop chasing that purpose, because you're here for a reason.
That's good. That's good. Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I don't even want it to end.